Woo! Welcome to another episode of Underdogs Into Winners. I am your host, Ahira Foster. I have with me, as always, my co-host, good friend, and co-founder of A-Game, Adi. Man,
What up?
I am excited for today, man. Not just because we have a great guest as an Alvin, but it's your boy's birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Boy's getting old. I roasted you enough today, but no, man. I'm just playing, man. Again, that's a big milestone year. You've come a long way. I'm excited for what's next.
I appreciate
just
that.
Don't have too much fun tonight. I'm not gonna go into discussion as to what may be transpiring later tonight on the airwaves, but have your fun, but be a responsible adult. Is what I'm gonna say.
It's all about. This is a more of a professional live stream, but it rhymes with menacy. So, but we will be responsible today. All right, we will be responsible.
What's that commercial? Drink responsibly.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's not the alcohol we're going to be drinking, but yeah, drink responsibly. Yes.
There you go. For sure. Commercial. Well, there'll be enough chances to wish you here. But again, everyone in the audience, be sure to give our boy here a birthday shout out. Again, I don't want to put his public and personal business out there, but it is a milestone year. So give your boy a wish, and yeah, let's get this started, man. So who do we have coming on again?
This guy is a prime example of what leadership is about and the power of speaking that he does. He's done several speaking engagements. He recently finished his master's and his MBA at the same time. Wow. Master's of Science and his MBA at the same time.
That's crazy.
I want to introduce. We don't own the video. We don't own the music rights to this. We don't own the video music rights to this. I want to introduce everyone to Alvin.
Hello, how's it going, Alvin? Welcome to A-Game Studio, my guy.
Appreciate it.
All right, cut the music. Alvin, man, I appreciate you coming in. I know I wasn't there for our pre-interview background, but getting to know you, just messages through LinkedIn, getting to know you, just getting to know your story, just overall has been really impressive, and I'm just excited just to talk to you, man, and just have this conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind introduction, and yeah, I'm very grateful to be here as well. It's always wonderful to sort of share your story, help others learn as well as they're growing. So I appreciate what you guys are doing with A-Game as well, like highlighting all these amazing stories, and I'm very excited to be a part of it. Yeah.
Of course, man. Of course. Hey, so you guys ready to dive right into it?
Let's do it.
Yeah, all right, sure. Alvin. So I want to know something about you, right? What were you like growing up?
Wow, that's such a deep question. I think growing up, I think when I was younger, I would say I was a really shy mama's kid. Always was very quiet. Always wanted to keep everyone happy. Wouldn't really speak up in class. Always waited for my turn. And yeah, I was just like a very timid, shy kid who obviously then was very sheltered, and also I was an introvert, so I wouldn't go out of my way to make friends. So there were a lot of experience. I think I limited myself to even in school, which was fair. I think that it was the in and out of it. But I felt like as I continued to grow, I'm very grateful for the teachers I had, and even the peers I had, because they would always encourage me. They were like, I remember the first time I had to go up on stage for something. It was like, oh, can you go take part in some fashion show they were having for kids, where all the kids with different flaws, right? So they were like, Alvin, you have to say 2 lines and you're a rose, right? So they sent me up on stage. I remember messing that up as well, but I feel like those were just like having those opportunities to do the most silliest of things, but getting that exposure to be outside my comfort zone really helped me. And it sort of helped me gather that confidence. Because, being a shy kid, being an introvert, usually when I did start getting into outside my comfort zone, it created a sense of anxiety. Because you're like, oh my God, I'm going to do something new. I don't know how people are going to respond to it. How are they going to look at me? So I would say a lot of my youth went into that, like just overthinking everything. So, and then I continued to grow. I think it was just really in college when they asked me, do a presentation for some subject, and usually people were going up, they were doing their gig, and it was fine. But when I went up, I just all of a sudden I realized I love doing this. I love saying a story or presenting something, I'm bringing an element of excitement and energy to it. And from there, just with the feedback I got and the acceptance I got, I started putting myself more into these positions of, doing public speaking engagements, doing talks. And I come from a very academic household. So my mom's a professor. So I've always felt like I'm in a lecture. Or I don't know if you guys have ever had professor friends, but every conversation almost feels like you're in a classroom. So I was kind of, so I mean, with that, it was always like, like I don't want to be in that position where I'm lecturing people, but I feel like that sort of helped me, and that's sort of my passion for learning came in. So, and as an undergrad, I learned management. Back home, I did a master's as well in commerce in India. And yeah, growing up after I did my master's, I worked with a nonprofit. I work with a nonprofit known as Make a Difference in India. We work with children at risk. One thing about me I love sharing is, so my grandparents came from a very rural place in India. It's called the southern part of India. It's called Kerala. So I don't know if have you guys been to Kerala at all or to India?
I have not. It's on my list though, for sure.
Nice. You should go. Kerala is lovely. They have amazing backwaters and it's really calm and peaceful. So yeah, they came from a very rural place. They did not have a lot. So one thing I always had, even since I was young, and all the stories my granddad used to tell me how he moved to the city. He had like nothing with him. He worked super hard, built everything from ground up. I was like, man, I got to be humble, right? Like nothing is ever for granted. You have to always, for me at least, I believe that everything happens for a specific reason. So I feel like, oh, I'm doing X reason. It's an opportunity for me to now help others to reach that place as well. So yeah, so I volunteered when I was 16. I used to work in a nonprofit called Make a Difference. I wanted to teach kids, but they were like, you know what, Alvin, you're too young. We don't think like you're ready at 16 to teach kids English. So they put me into corporate relations. They were like, you're very energetic, very passionate. So probably we'd love, we like corporates might like that, right? They like that energy and that passion. So I started working in corporate relations. The second year became the city head. The third year I became a national strategist for 7 cities. Winning grants, hiring people. Much older than me. And it was a lot of fun. I did that. Then I worked with the Gerson Lerman Group as well for 8 months, a lot of consulting based, venture capital based work. Very exciting again, to speak to CXO level experts, really learn a lot about like consulting based projects in terms of the risk and the amount of stress that goes into it behind the scenes. I did that. And then in 2018, I decided that again, I'm too comfortable, right? Everything's taken care of for me. I've never lived alone. So 2018, I decided to challenge myself and move to Canada. And I pursued a double master's because I wanted to really get a feeling of what the grind is like. I know being a student, like you're getting on with your assignments, like you got to manage all your side hustles as well at the same time. So it was a great way for me to sort of step up and come. So I would say, yeah, I mean, a little bit about me would be, some of my, like a story about me, coming to Canada, pursuing education, and definitely a lot around my family and me being a shy kid, because I feel like being a shy kid today, not being that completely is really something that's very transformational for me. I know a lot of people could relate to that because I feel like if you come from a conservative household or you come from a place where you've never been taught that it's okay to be wrong or speak your mind, I feel like it can be a very scary experience, especially if it's online or wherever else. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I completely relate to those things. I think everyone kind of growing up, when you think about, even if it's like that 2-minute or 3-minute speech, like you're super nervous because like, like you got to go through it. But no, that's really great, man. Kind of like, let's talk a little bit more about that decision to make a move like that, right? Because it's one thing to move within India, like to go to another city, but you talked about moving across the world, right? So kind of like, I know you talk about wanting to like grow and like kind of be a better version of you, but kind of like, how tough was that, to leave the place that you've known like your entire life to, kind of seek something that's better for yourself, like long term?
Right. It was hard. Honestly, when you're planning it out, you don't realize it's going to be that hard. You're like, oh, okay, I'm going to just, like choose a university, going to book my tickets, going to pack. But once I got here, I realized, oh man, I've been so sheltered. Like, I really appreciate my parents and people that were around me, because I mean, you don't realize the amount of work that goes into like living an independent life, right? Where you're responsible for everything, your own time. There's no one that's going to tell you in the end of the day, hey, like you should have done this better. So I feel like it was super hard, but I mean, I love it because I feel like that sense of self-direction and ownership you get of what you're going to do, what you want to do, how you want to spend your time. It helps you learn more about yourself, because I feel like even in the smallest of tasks, like cooking a meal, it can be so exciting. You're going to plan going to plan what you're going to cook, buy groceries for it, maybe invite friends over. And I feel like I started being able to appreciate. Initially, I was very annoyed because everything felt like a sad like task I need to work on and put time into. But gradually, I think I came to accept the fact that this is just how life is going to be. There's no point of being really disappointed about it or getting upset about it. So yeah, I started really appreciating and enjoying things I'm doing. And moving as well, I think another thing that was really challenging for me is because when I moved initially, I felt like, hey, I'm coming to Canada, I'm going to have to like learn about Canadian culture. But very soon I realized that, hey, it's a super global world, right? I'm in a classroom with 13 nationalities. And all of a sudden I'm finding myself in groups with people from different cultures. And everyone always has the best at heart, wants to do the best thing. But like communication is so tricky. And I'm sure with you guys having been in groups that must be multicultural would realize if you want to give feedback to someone, if you want to support someone or encourage them, there's such a different way at times of doing it in different cultures. And it could be so like I found that a bit challenging initially when I moved. I was like, okay, like this is very different. Like I got to start learning or taking feedback at a very active, in an active pace. Because if I assume my way is the best way, it won't work. So I feel like that was a big culture exposure for me. It was almost like culture shock for me that wow, like the world is so global, right? Like no classroom, no workspace is anymore about one culture or one kind of person. And I feel like initially it was scary, but again, with just having good people around you that are willing to tell you, hey, Alvin, this is the good way of saying this, or hey, Alvin, like maybe this should have been said this way, or this is the way I like to work. It helped me realize that it's good to come up with a way with common grounds where everyone's kind of happy with what you're doing and what the discussion is, right? It's not a team is not just about one directive way. It's a team is about like getting everyone's point of view, how everyone wants to take ownership, learn, and grow through that opportunity. So yeah, I think it's helped me really open me up to the idea of inclusion, diversity. I feel like when I was back home, again, I mean, India is an amazing country with so many cultures, right? But you don't realize it because when you're home, you're like, oh, this is the normal, right? But when you come abroad, like I think I've learned a lot more about different Indian cultures as well moving abroad because now I realize the distinction between cultures because I can clearly see how people get excited, motivated, or upset about things based on specific factors. So I'm very grateful for that exposure as well. And yeah, finally, I think living alone and like having my own space has also really helped me learn more about my own interests, learn more about my own like insecurities and frustrations. Like I think the whole old Alvin was very comfortable again, like did not have to actively think about why he's feeling a certain way or what gets him excited. But I feel like when you get that when you push yourself that far ahead in your outside your comfort zone, you're almost left to almost have to constantly evaluate why you're doing something, what excites you, how can you take care of yourself better, so that in the end of the day you're reaching a place where you're not like burnt out. Because I'm always like, oh, I got to take breaks, right? What's that good way for me to excite myself or reward myself at the end of a successful like term or something? So I feel like that whole self-realization also I'm very grateful for. I think moving has definitely helped me become more happy and know what makes me happy as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you were saying like being independent, right, and even moving across the world to a new country, it really tests you. It really tests your character. It really tests, what you're really made of. Because now you're just not in the comfort of your hometown where you're just with your same old friends, same your family, but it really sees like what you're really made of, and right, and then that from there, you really took that challenge and really is like, you know what, I could make myself be anybody I want to be, and you really did that, and I think that's kudos to you because it's not easy getting up and moving to across the world. And then so my next question would be, what made out of all countries, right? Why Canada? Not the United States, England, New Zealand, Australia. Why Canada? Why did that stick out to you the most?
No, that was a hard decision because initially when I was applying, I mean, I was wanting to move to a country or a place where I would at least get an opportunity to also get some work experience because I realized, it is important to not just learn, but also to have an opportunity to get some corporate experience, get some like experience of working with different kind of people and organizations. So I was looking at a few different places, but one of the major reasons I did choose Canada was because I was just told people you're nice, like everyone's super sweet. People apologize all the time, and I was like, oh, that sounds like me. I'm usually the kind of person that even if it's my fault, I might apologize because I don't want to upset someone. And that was one of the major reasons I chose Canada because of how warm it is in terms of how good people are. and really of how much they value the idea of giving back. I'm sure all countries do, but just with my experience of talking to people in different countries, I was told that, hey, you know what, Alvin, if you like giving back, like if you like volunteering, which I used to do a lot back home, that's accepted and that's loved and that's appreciated. And you do find like-minded people who would really encourage you to do that and do it with you. So I was like, oh, that also sounds really nice. So I did have offers from other colleges and universities as well, but for me, it was a lot about like, what can I choose that would give me deep exposure into culture, find like-minded people. That was really the reason why behind I did choose the university I went to as well, Vancouver Island University, because they do a lot of work with First Nation groups as well, a lot of work with local organizations as well. And for me, it was really a lot about how can I add value to people, how can I support them, and choose something that's very connected to the community as well. So that was one of the major reasons of it. It's not that anyone else is bad. At that point, it was just like, what's more similar to me, right? Because coming from a big city in Mumbai, I sometimes used to feel like, like a disconnect with, with smaller things like helping people, smiling when you're passing them by, like just being kind to someone if they need help. And moving here, I can say that, it was definitely a great decision. Everyone's always super nice and always so helpful, and they're always very reciprocative as well when you are helpful to them. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And a more of a lighthearted question for you. Do you like Tim Hortons?
I do like Tim Hortons.
I'll be biased. I'll be unbiased. As much as I like Starbucks and kind of American coffee, Tim Hortons is the GOAT. Like their chocolate muffins are just like the greatest thing of all time. So for me, I have to pledge my allegiance with the North when it comes to coffee and Tim Hortons.
I love that. Yeah. Raptors and Tims, you always say you love because that's just what the norm is. So yeah.
I was like, when you said Tim Hortons, I honestly didn't know that was a coffee spot.
Oh really?
I gotta get out. I gotta get out of the country.
Yeah, you're missing out, man. Like so good. Yeah.
It's been like 2 years, but anyways, I'm really liking that what you're saying, right? But I have to. But the thing is, I really have to, dive a little bit about, your public speaking background, right? So, you grow up as this introvert, and then, you slowly start engaging with, other people, getting out of your shell. What's your advice for people that are introverts that are looking to actually break into being extroverts and actually talking? Because now, what was the biggest speaking engagement? First, what's the advice you had to you give to people that are introverts and trying to be extroverts and actually break out of their shell? And then, what's the biggest in speaking engagement that you've done?
Interesting. So I think an advice would be just keep taking small steps, right? Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of times you feel like, hey, public speaking is about like getting in front of like a lot of people and like having to practice a lot, and it's all very scary. But if you break it down into like small actionable steps, like, hey, I'm going to find a group. Like, so Toastmasters is a great example. So that's a good group. I've never joined it personally, but I know that's, again, one space where you can go meet people, practice, and make mistakes and get feedback. Because I feel like a lot of what you're afraid of is just something you haven't done a lot of, right? So, because you've not practiced it, you've not put yourself outside the comfort zone, you feel like it's a bad, scary thing. So my advice really would be is to find those small steps and keep taking them. Don't ever, and if it goes bad, like, it's okay, right? If you take a small step, let's say you join a call, you're doing some sort of a webinar, you were given a chance to speak for 5 or 10 minutes, you make a mistake, you get super nervous. Like, be kind to yourself. Like, I would say, don't let that hold you back, because anything that you start all of a sudden, let it be a sport, let it be a video game that you play maybe, or something else that you do that you like. Let's think of that thing as being the first thing you ever tried doing that. Right, it's always not going to be easy going because you have never done it before. So I would say be kind to yourself when it goes wrong, and always, I would say, just find safe spaces where you can make mistakes. I think one of the things that I was really afraid of as an introvert and someone who was shy was, if I make a mistake, people are going to make fun of me, going to judge me, and going to really belittle me as well, maybe, right? Because you're always afraid of taking that level of risk. So one thing, again, that's really important, it could be Toastmasters, it could be a group of friends that all want to learn public speaking, right? Or it could be a bunch of people that who are good at public speaking. So being able to identify a safe space where you can actually go practice, make mistakes, is again a great way. I did a lot of that when I was trying to get better. Just with I found the right people like teachers or professors who were good mentors to me. So it almost became a thing where they would give me opportunities either on campus, off campus, to go try it out. And sometimes there was not a great audience, and that's fine. At least to get that exposure to try things out and have those advocates who are constantly pushing you to try to get better is really supportive. The biggest speaking engagement, that's interesting. Biggest is very subjective for me. So biggest could mean what meant a lot to me, or biggest could mean the number of people. So
both, actually, both, because the biggest one could be like, your speaking engagement could be like what meant to you the most was like how you went in, the level of preparation, what you were able to talk about. Because again, as public speaking, you diversify the level of topics that you talk about. So what was actually, I'm glad that you asked that, because what was the most meaningful to you?
Right. I think the most meaningful, it's so hard. There's so many. Feels so wrong to pick one. But I think one that comes to my mind that was recent is when I graduated from my dual degree master's. I was valedictorian, and I was lucky because it was right before COVID hit, yeah, it was a whole different experience because I've never had to you wear that stash and it's all fancy because everyone's wants to take pictures with you and all that. But then you get onto the stage and now there's all this responsibility, right? But you have to say something that people are going to remember either for the good or for the bad. It shouldn't be too long. It should be inspiring. So there's all this unsaid pressure in a way which you could take. I felt like that was meaningful because I felt like I made it as personable as possible. I tried to make a joke, and I was obviously really standing out and talking about the value. So the value of my university is you matter here, or like the fact that you have value when you are here, right? So my motto, whatever I was trying to say, was like take what you matter here and build that ecosystem and space in the world, right? Like make everyone feel mattered no matter where you are and what they're doing. So for me, in terms of because sadly my parents couldn't be here, but like the fact that they were watching it at an odd hour, wherever they were, and everyone else's parents were watching it as well, that was a special moment for me. I think apart from that, with Wonsulting recently, we did a webinar with Harvard, where I was one of the speakers with amazing speakers. Like I think with Basant, with Jonathan, with Jerry. So that was amazing. Like I couldn't even imagine, based on my ability to even speak in crowds of public, and just someone who's getting his voice right now, to be able to have an opportunity like that to speak with a prestigious university like that. So I think that was, I would say, another really great, valuable experience that Wonsulting was able to provide to me. Yeah.
Big ups, man. No, that's a big deal. I think it's ironic. I've seen I'm sure you guys have seen the post too. It's like when a little kid's falls after trying to learn how to walk, they don't say this isn't for me, right? I fear we've all seen that post, and I think that really hits home because it's it's gonna not be good at first. You're not gonna be good at anything when you first start, because if you were, then that's not your first time. So it's great to kind of, man, see your transformation, even from afar, man. Just seeing how even your story from being an introvert to now, it's it's not even about the likes, but just kind of the impact and how you make people feel when you post on LinkedIn and do these things. It's truly remarkable. So hats off to you for that.
Hey, before we go a little bit more into questions, I want to say shout out to Lloyd Versailles. That's my girlfriend's little brother, but that's my little bro too as well. I want to say something that resonated with him is the comments right here. Small steps to small wins plus small wins to big chances equals big wins, right? And I think something that we can talk about right now is all about taking that first step into becoming essentially what you want to be, right? Mm-hmm. And you're living proof of that, right? Is again, introvert, because introvert is a huge thing I see in a lot of folks, right? It's kind of scared coming out of that shell. So taking the small steps, and that was really great advice, and that resonated with myself because again, I was a shy kid, but I didn't really know how to speak, but I did public speaking engagements, competed in public speaking, Rotary speech contests and stuff like that. And it's, again, when it comes to public speaking, it's people are deathly scared of that. Public speaking, spiders, and heights, something like that is the top three things people are scared of. So with that being said, with your small steps, right? So what are things that you're trying to take in stride right now, as your small steps, as you're trying to move forward with your career and more speaking engagements as you go?
All right. I think the little small steps that I try to take at least is to be more consistent. Mm-hmm. I feel like something that I'm really trying to work on is to be able to make sure what my priorities are and keep taking small steps on them on a frequent basis. Maybe doing content, maybe finding new opportunities to build partnerships to support the work I do, with Wonsulting or with my nonprofits I work with. So yeah, my small step, I mean, one of them right now is to build consistency. The second is to continue to learn. I feel like, obviously being very new, still very new. I've been here for 2 years in Canada now, but I always think it's always less time. So always trying to build a better understanding of different markets, of different relationships and people and organizations and industries. Doing a lot of virtual coffee chats and just garnering an opportunity to support people and be supported as well. So that's one of the things I'm also taking small steps on, is to really just connect with people. I feel like now, because everything is virtual, it's not as easy as, oh, we'll grab a cup of coffee. You got to align those Google calendars and find that common Zoom chat time. So really always trying to being open to connecting with people. And the third thing I think I'm trying to take small steps on is frequently trying to find opportunities to get other people opportunities as well. So I've had, I mean, with the content I do, and with the encouragement I try to provide to people and the empowerment, I have a lot of people who reach out to me, to do a quick chat, to get support if they're a new immigrant or the international or they're a student, to navigate, mentorship or opportunities. So I think the third small step I'm taking is to try to find how or what that means to me and how I can give that time. Because when you get into moving forward, you don't realize that, hey, now you can be a great resource for other people as well. And again, you want to be a resource in a way that's fair to you as well, right? You don't want to just do it because someone's asking you for help. So I think that's something I'm also navigating as well, how I could provide mentorship or support to more people as well who are maybe struggling to find their voice, maybe struggling to find opportunities, to find mentorship. So that's also a constant way of me, I think taking consistent steps towards that and realizing that, hey, if people do need support, if they're having a bad day or do need something that I can offer to them, how best could I do that, right? So these are a few things I'm working on now, and I hope through taking these small steps, gradually I can move into a place where I can do these in a more consistent manner, which is very fulfilling, not just for me, but also for the person that I'm connecting with, or supporting, right, through my content or my work and time.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so actually with that being said, right, when you have this, when we're helping people and then, you get encouraging others, I want to talk about your hashtag winwithalvin. Where did that come from?
All right. Yeah, so that's fun. I mean, when I think of having a hashtag for myself now, it almost makes me feel super shy, because I'm like, oh, wow, I was a guy who was afraid for his name to be taken in class. Like, now I have like a cool hashtag. So I did put a lot of thought into it. And actually, it started off when I started doing content and, doing webinars with Wonsulting and just putting myself out there. People started coming up with hashtags for me. Like, I remember, I'm very grateful. People were saying hashtag Alvin, like ALWIN, which was fun. Then there were like different hashtags. So then it came to me that maybe I should just come up with one. And one of the reasons of coming up with it is, I think when you do content on a frequent basis, a lot of people want to get an opportunity to try to see it at least on their feed. And having a hashtag, and if people follow it, it really helps people find your content, right? Especially with how busy LinkedIn is. If you're following a hashtag, the odds of them seeing it is higher. So then I was like, oh, I should do it, and many ways to working on the content, maybe we should create it. So I was trying to then think what really resonates with me and what I want to do and what my personal professional goal is, which is to add value to people and to build a community. And one thing that I've always faced, no matter what school I used to go to or college or even right now, everything around me is always so competitive. Everyone talks about how can I get ahead, right? What can I do to land that interview or that job? So for me, it was all about how can I create an inclusive and collective mindset where what I'm sharing is what we're sharing and we can all get over it together, right? Or what is your problem is my problem and we can find a common ground together. And Win with Alvin really resonates, like it stands for that. It's the idea of, hey, we are going to win in one way or the other, right? It's just about the growth mindset and the perspective we hold. But let's not win alone. Like, I don't want to win without everybody being involved in that victory. So how can we take steps to win as a collective through my journey, right? And that's the reason for me, winning is not just about, hey, I did something cool. It's also about those days I did not feel good and how that's something we all can relate to and win to find ways to get better at that, right? So, yes, I would say like the Win with Alvin idea and where it comes from is a lot of collective winning, where even though we're competitive and, we all want to do well individually, we still don't forget that person that might take slightly longer to do well. We don't, put down that person who may not know where they want to go or what they want to do. right? I feel like we all take different times based on where we are and our circumstance, and it's important to always try to be as inclusive as possible. Yeah.
That's important, man. It really is, because like you said, it's like we all may have individual goals, and kind of like each kind of milestone or goal you may hit, there was a lot of people along the way that helped you get to have that chance to make that goal happen. And it's really important to remember that, especially now, right? I think even for like whether it's, graduating, landing a position, like there's people along the way that, helped you get to where you got. So you can't forget that. No, I think that's great, because like, especially now, man, it's like everyone is going through a lot of things, right? Like this COVID pandemic, I think obviously, like kind of just everything's going on in the world. It's like, we're all in this together. So the more we can kind of, come together, really just kind of be honest, and like kind of be a level of vulnerability is important, to kind of push forward. So that's great.
Actually, Adi, I want to ask a question extended from that. Alvin, who are some people that, help you get to where you need to be throughout your whole process going, education, career thus far?
I think that's such an important question, but at the same time, there's just so many different people at different parts of my life that have been so supportive. I think initially it was a lot of my parents. I think you have to be just so humble with even the smallest of things that people are able to do for you, like put a meal in front of you, right? I think that alone, and the ability to realize that, hey, I'm going to pay for your school, I'm going to take care of everything so that you don't have to worry about anything. So obviously very humble and grateful to them, to my friends. I think professionally moving in to Canada, I had a lot of professors and mentors, from different organizations where I was an ambassador or I was working at, even with Wonsulting. So Jonathan, Javier, and Jerry Lee, they've been such amazing mentors. I think it really started with just us aligning with the idea that every underdog needs to be a winner, or at least feel like they can win. And even though I've done at this point like 3 degrees, I never felt like I was a top dog, right? I would never have like a top dog dream, because I always would underwrite myself because, hey, I don't have that experience, or I don't come from X school, so maybe I don't deserve an opportunity. So I feel like to get to do any of the things I'm doing right now, to have a voice, to find that safe space and community that I'm not just championing to be a part of, but also advocating so that they can continue to grow together, has been through that. I'm very grateful for Jennifer Cadello, one of my mentors at LinkedIn. She's always been super nice, always checking in, always making sure that I'm always finding my way. And I've had great professors as well. Again, I wouldn't so many, like it's hard for me to take names, but I've had a lot of people that have believed in me, because I'm one of those guys, right? And when I'm in a classroom or doing anything, I'm not going to be like I'm okay with the normal, right? I'm not going to be like, hey, like this amount of doing is fine. I would really push people and professors to be like, I want to try something crazy, right? Or I want to do something that no one else has done. And I've always got a lot of warmth, a lot of acceptance, a lot of love from like people on campus, students, and just super humble and grateful for everybody who's always had faith in me to do the things I want to do.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I say this because, like so many people sacrifice for us to be in these positions, right? Like for example, I could say like for my family, how much they sacrificed, and leading up to how much they sacrificed for me to be in this position to be able to do, A-game in the first place, right? With all that support, and even for yourself, you're saying that parents were saying like, we could, take care of your finances while you go to school. That means you can give it your all. You know what I mean? And so my thing is that my motto is like, I have to, like, it's not just about me, like when I'm in this position, and it's not just about us for being in this position. So I have to give it my all for those people that, help me sacrifice so much so I could be able to do so much more with my life. So that what you were just talking about really resonated with me. Cause I, in hindsight, again, being 25, turning 25 today, that you start to reflect on people, that help you get to the situation. You know what I mean? No, Adi, I'm not old.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say
we were talking about that earlier. But
that's, man, Alvin, you can't take a joke. That's different. Like, come on, if you can't read between the lines, that's I don't know what to tell you there. But pivoting real quick, man, Alvin. So like again, you've created like this movement, and kind of being this advocate for kind of being that helping hand, right? But I also think too, it's like, I think maybe just kind of again, coming from like that brown community, right? Just kind of like the brown culture. Sometimes it's hard to ask for help, right? It's not even so much like we know we need to ask for help. I don't know if it's an ego thing, kind of just, again, like that self-worth kind of dilemma that's internally, but it's like, what advice do you have for those, like, to kind of just ask for the help that they need, right? Obviously, like you said, you don't want to be super transactional, like, hey, can you just help me land a job, right? Or like, you can't be that straight up per se, but like, kind of, how does one who goes from like, feeling like the lack of worthiness and kind of those things to like kind of being able to actually ask for help and, get closer to where they're trying to go? Like, kind of what advice do you have for that?
Yeah. Oh, that's such an important question. I feel like I still struggle with that, right? Because I feel like, again, I'm not sure if it's because of the upbringing or the mindset, but a lot of asking for help for me sometimes means that I'm going to burden another person, right? So I'm going to then stress them out about my issue, like maybe they got to take time out of their day. Maybe they're going through something else as well, and they got to then deal with my stuff. So I'm so bad at it. I would say I'm still not the best at it. I try taking small steps by just trying to realize that we're all in a journey that we all have to help each other, right? The someone helps me today means I'm gonna help someone else, and it's just an ongoing cycle of help. But as much as I say that, I think that one thing that you could do if you are struggling with it as well is try to always position it or request someone first only after you've really maybe connected with them and understand who they are. Also, I would say, I mean, again, if you can and there's an opportunity, ask what you can do for the other person, right? Because a lot of receiving is also about giving. And this is such a life lesson. I mean, it's not just about help, it's just like in anything that you do, right? Maybe content, finding opportunities. If you're able to uplift and support others, they're automatically going to want to uplift and support you, right? Like, I feel like it's a given, and reciprocity and being kind to others is something that also helps them learn more about you, because everybody is going to be, in someone's DMs on LinkedIn chats asking that, hey, can I do this for X job, or can I get a virtual coffee chat because I want a referral or something like that. But who's going to be really messaging someone being like, hey, I want to learn more about you and supporting you, or learning more about an organization you're a part of, or want to help you with something that you're doing? And sometimes building that interpersonal relationship is so powerful, because when you help someone and when you're not making something about you, people want to support you. Like, they're so happy that you made it about them, because no one talks to them about them. Everyone only talks to them about what they can get out of them, right? And I feel like that that really has helped me, because today when I still don't ask for help enough. That's my reality. But I wouldn't shy away from offering help. And I feel like that whole mentality, in a way, makes people almost ask you. Like, I have people ask me, like, Alvin, what can we do for you? How can we help you? And I think that builds a safe space where you're like, okay, this person really cares. They're asking me themselves. And now I feel maybe a little more comfortable to ask for help. So I would say that would be some advice I could give is try not making it about you. And if it gets to a point where you really need to ask for help, ask, because the biggest thing that they can say is no, right? And it's fine. At least you did fair to yourself when you asked. Because I feel like if you don't even ask, that's unfair to you. Because I feel like everyone deserves an opportunity to at least try to get help, right? No insecurity, no fear, no ego is big enough or worth missing out on an opportunity to get someone's help. Because help doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to belittle you, or put you, like, there's nothing that's going to happen that's going to affect you. It's just going to maybe open up your mindset, your perspective. So I think one of the other things with help is like, people are like, oh my god, I'm too good for help, right? Like, I know everything, I have everything figured out. A lot of I don't want to speak ill of my parents or people from my family, but a lot of times I've come across people that would be like, I'm too good for this, right? Like, I don't need help. Like, what are they going to ever do for me? And a lot of times, help could just open up your mind to so many new possibilities and perspective. Like, initially, I would try to start an initiative or try to do something, and that would be it. But now I'm in a position where I know feedback is everything, right? The fact that I can take something I want to do, the smallest of things, and put it in front of people and get to know what they think of it before, is going to help me evaluate things from different lenses. And I think the amount of like clarity that brings is amazing. So I would say definitely, like, don't shy away. You're definitely missing out if you're not trying to get help. Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask this question for you, Alvin. That was before I asked the question. That was definitely a good point because, again, anywhere you need to be, you need help, right? Even if you don't know it, like ego plays a huge part in not wanting to ask for help, just because it's just like, I'll do it on my own, but not great things come together where you ask for help and get input from other people. But for you right now, working with Wonsulting right now, right? Underdogs into winners is their motto, right? Did you ever perceive yourself as an underdog, and then being perceived as an underdog, how do you take that underdog mentality, and how do you kind of have that dog mentality to really get yours in essence?
Yeah. So being a part of Wonsulting is such a gift. I mean, it's such a beautiful feeling to be a part of a family where everyone's so deeply connected to the idea of helping others win. And I would say definitely felt and feel like an underdog. And I feel like that's just how we perceive things, right? We're always attaching value and self confidence and self worth to things that sometimes are not in our hands, right? Like you may think, hey, if I had X experience, I would be a top dog. But hey, the opportunity and access to that experience may be something that maybe you weren't able to do or wasn't in your hands to even attain, right? Similarly to the school, right? You may associate X value to being in X school, but if you're not able to pay the fee or get in, you can't blame yourself for everything. And I feel like what Wonsulting really does is it helps bridge that gap. So if you're ever feeling that you don't have access to opportunities, right, to recruiters that you couldn't meet if you're not in that school that they're recruiting at, if you feel like your resume or your voice maybe online is not that, it's not what you want it to be, that could attract potential people or mentors that you could have, and Wonsulting helps bridge that as well. So I feel like in the idea of being able to make others win, it also provides you with great resources, tips, and a community really where you can ask questions, meet others as well, meet other mentees who made it to that dream company that you want to be in. And I feel like through that, it's really been a powerful space. I mean, I'm so blessed to be able to work with Jonathan and Jerry, who have been underdogs themselves, have such amazing stories, with Jerry being one of the first folks from his college to make it to Google, with Jonathan with the whole Snapchat story, to be able to build a project that is then inspiring others, to want to build projects themselves, to get noticed and show that level of desire and worth to want to be in an organization. So I feel like there's so many stories of winners that Wonsulting has made. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. Because for me, it brings me so much joy when we're able to host an event, get amazing leaders to come and speak. And when that leads to someone finding that sense of belief, finding that sense of acceptance that, hey, I am in X position, this mentor or this global leader was also in that position, but they were able to change that for themselves, right? So to build that sense of relatability, confidence, and drive within people, so that everyone is a winner, right? Or everyone at least believes that they can win, is definitely something that I mean, it's such a blessing to be a part of, and I'm very grateful to do these projects, connect with all these amazing leaders, to do these lives with, like, we've done Amazon, Microsoft, like global leaders from all those organizations. We did Workday recently, and just let people know that no organization, no opportunity is too big for you, right? Like, you're worth it if you put in the work and you have that desire and that drive. And Wonsulting, the community, all the mentors, resources are here to help you attain it. So yeah, I think it's definitely been like transformational experience. Yeah.
Man, that's great. And the model and the mission all starts with the leaders, right? Jonathan and Jerry with their stories is amazing. It's crazy. And all the momentum that they've had within this past year, within the past few months as well too. Shout out to, Wonsulting, Jonathan and Jerry, for Forbes 30 under 30, they were nominated, right? Or, a part of the list. Now that's huge. That's honestly, if you're our entrepreneur, innovator, any type of creator, that's the elite list to be a part of. And for them to be a part of it, it's one thing. If Jonathan's on here, I will dunk on you. I told him I was going to dunk on him. He plays basketball. That's a little inside joke. I'm a dunk on Jonathan sometime soon. But
in 2K, he means 2K, not real life. Boy can barely jump.
Both, bro. That's how we get it done.
Bro, you barely touched the net. Last time I played. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's huge, that it starts with the leaders, and and speaking of that type of leadership, too as well. You are currently in a leadership position. You are, let me see right here, customer success supervisor and campaigns lead at Bell, right? And then so as you are a leader, how is it that at this young age, you've taken on a leadership role, and then how do you embrace that for yourself?
Right. Yeah, the work with Bell, even the work with Wonsulting and being in leadership positions, it's just the ability to really identify and know that leadership is not just about having a position or a role. I couldn't care less if I wasn't called a leader, right? It's more about what you're able to bring that's able to add value to others and help them lead as well. Because I think a great team is not when you're leading. A great team is when everyone feels like they're leading as well and have ownership of what they want to do. They're all growing, they're all learning, they all feel equally involved and invested. So my goal really with Wonsulting, my work at Bell, is to identify opportunities for people within my team. Right? We're so actively working always to create opportunities so that everybody can. Well, that's a funny comment.
That's my older brother.
So the goal really is to be able to create leadership opportunities. So with my work at Bell, I was few months into my role. I've just spent 5 months there, and there was this position to lead campaigns for my region, and I was told, hey, maybe you shouldn't apply. You're not been here long enough, but I did, and it was fun because I applied, and it looked like I had so much of experience of just leading campaigns with different organizations on campus. And the fact that I showed this great desire, had all these great ideas, and obviously brought this sense of drive and passion to what I wanted to do, I was a great contender and I made it, right? So I think a lot of times just having that self-belief that you can lead as well is a great indicator, even for the person that wants to make you lead, to be like, hey, this guy believes he can do it, right? Like, who am I to doubt it if he's so confident? And the work with Wonsulting and leading is all about giving back, really. Like most days I'm trying to get onto coffee chats with different people within the community to identify what they like, what they don't like, how can they lead as well, right? Because I feel like with Wonsulting, with a growing community, it's important to have many leaders, right? We're so grateful. Like with the team, we have Iris Squaw. She's so actively involved with helping with the Breaking In series, sort of leading that as well. We have other members in our team as well. Now our team has grown. We got interns and all of that. So it's definitely been exciting to collaborate and provide opportunities to others in the community as well. Because I feel like when we win together, we work better. Yeah.
It's all about that team effort, man. It really is. And then, being that like for our first time, we actually have interns part of A-Game too as well. Wonderful. And for Adi and I, it's been a whole learning experience. Again, you there's that leadership position, but what I've learned through that whole process, like being able to utilize each person's strength, so that way they best play to the team. They play their role and then they help us, and we've definitely grown a whole lot since we've had our interns with us. And then so like the next part of leadership as well, like what leaders do you look up to, and how do you kind of adapt their leadership qualities?
Right. Leadership is it's so vital. I think that I have again it's hard because I love reading. I love history, and a lot of what I do is I do read like autobiographies and watch documentaries, and I don't know why I always feel bad when I take one name because I feel like, oh man, I've learned from so many people. But if I really had to pick a couple of people, I think there'd always be leaders that had that sense of community and people and the sense of giving. I think one of the people I'm most inspired by is Mother Teresa, right? Someone that's such a giver. I mean, when I read what she's done and the amount of selflessness in it, it makes me feel like even the smallest of things is a great step towards that. And I think with the work she did with leprosy patients and people going through difficult times, homeless, having different diseases, and she was so brave. I think one thing I looked up to her is because you can always in that situation put yourself in a position where you're like, hey, if I go help that person, I could get sick. If I go, especially because she was even like really old at certain ages, and she was going herself into a lot of these places to give food, provide medication, and that amount of like selflessness to be like, hey man, like my journey is my journey, but if my journey can add value even by 1% to someone else, is great. right? So definitely like a huge fan. You know, when I do content, I'm always like shouting her out, like, you know, putting her quotes and stuff in my comments because I'm so inspired. And Nelson Mandela, you know, Mahatma Gandhi, you know, I can't even begin. Like these leaders who always don't put themselves first, and their purpose is so deeply connected to the idea that community must win and community must move forward together. Because I feel like that's something that really resonates with me, and I'm very very inspired by them. Yeah.
Man, that's no, you're right. You said I've over here said something about who are the leaders, but there's so many different influences in leadership that makes you feel like that you grab from, right? For myself, it's my Black leaders. I have a poster. Literally, they're all in a poster. MLK, Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Obama, and so you have that. It's just that's important. But before we wrap this up, right? Adi, ask the main question that we like to cap off before we finish everything.
Of course. Alvin, we covered a lot, my man. But ultimately, what do you do that brings out your A game? In other words, allows Alvin to be the best version of Alvin.
Right. Oh, yeah, it's such a power question to end it with. I also want to say, like, props to you guys for bringing the A game with this whole great initiative. Here as well for you on your birthday to be on this. I think that it shows a level of passion and desire, and very grateful for you guys to have me on and bring your A game through this great initiative. I think for me, my A game is when I'm able to really do work that's not only going to add value to me, but add value to others as well. I know it sounds like a repetitive horn, like, I'm saying the same thing in different ways, but in reality, I deeply believe in it. Like, I feel like when I do work that's fulfilling and adds value to others, it's not just great for them, it's also great for me. And I feel my A game, or what makes me really successful, is when I am supporting others or making things more collective and inclusive. I have a higher sense of passion, a higher sense of desire, a higher sense of a higher like growth mindset or a drive that pushes me to give like 200% if I would, right? So I think that really helps me bring my A game. The idea that I'm being able to find that alignment between professional and personal. I think in the past I always focused on professionally, what should I learn, what skills should I have, and how can that help me. But to be able to align that with my personal journey and realize that, hey, my journey is to help others win. My journey is about collective success, and how can helping add value to others truly bring them, a lot of growth, and how can that then bring me fulfillment as well. So yeah, I mean, it's been a great journey to realize that. I feel like just to know what's your A game, or what is it that brings you a great direction and drive is a big journey. But I'm very grateful to all my mentors and everyone that's helped me find that, and help. I think the acceptance as well, right? A lot of times you find what maybe is your A game or what works for you, but then you're like, oh, nobody likes this, or nobody feels like this is good enough. So I feel like to find the right leaders, right communities where you can be yourself, and your A game is valued and appreciated is definitely a humbling experience. So yeah, so that's what I would say.
Very well said, man. And again, we appreciate the love that you showed us too, man. Again, it's like you said, passion, kind of just the meaning when you do something that's bigger than yourself. I think that's bar none. I think that's like that's like like the best feeling in the world. I was gonna say some other words, but yeah, no, I guess so. With that, man, kind of where can our audience kind of find you? Like, obviously, we know you have the hashtag winwithalvin, but which social media channels are you like most active on, where people can kind of connect and get to know you better?
Yeah, so I think LinkedIn is where I'm most active. That's where Wonsulting and we're hosting lives. That's where I'm doing content consistently. If that's a place where you're looking for connecting with someone that's international, you're looking to learn more about, anxiety, any of the things I mentioned, right? Personal growth, finding your way to building relationships, mentorship. Definitely connect with me, follow me. You can follow my hashtag winwithalvin as well, so you don't miss the post. And Instagram is another great place you can connect with me. I always try to put updates of events that are going to be coming up that I'm being a part of. And yeah, there's also my website, alvinmeledath.com. You can go to if you want to book some time with me. That's a great place to find my Calendly. And yeah, so we can connect and sort of have a conversation. I love doing virtual coffees and like we call it virtual chai in India. So it's pretty good. I don't know if you guys have.
I like that. That's the brown. That's the brown iteration of coffee chats. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have had like Indian tea at all, but chai. But if you've not, I should send you some because it definitely is like it has that sense of spice, and it's very very refreshing to have. So I love that because I feel like when you speak to someone for the first time, you're on their journey. It's always very exciting. So I'm all up for that. So yeah, but if you're one thing I'd say is if you're looking for support, any of the things I mentioned resonated with you, or what I do resonates with you, reach out. Like I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to listen to your story and support you. Don't ever feel like you're alone in this journey of life. All right. So yeah.
Hey Alvin, we appreciate you, man. Like first and foremost, just telling us your story, but I'm gonna take you up on that. And I'm gonna fill out your calendar today. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have a virtual coffee, virtual Gatorade. But I'll just
no chai. I hear you gotta try chai, man. It's the best thing with rusk. You have rusk or mixture. You're like, oh man, that's a movie for sure.
But before we get off, I want to really thank our audience first and foremost. We would not be here without you guys. I love the support that we've been getting, the support from the Wonsulting community, the support from you, Alvin, Adi. Thank you so much. I want to, we have a comments right here for the happy birthdays. I want to say shout out to Christina Olimpo. That's my girlfriend's cousin. Give me a birthday shout out. I'll see you later today. Big shout out to my brother and Yvonne Foster. That's the one that said that y'all playing on 7-foot hoop. He likes to roast people. Shout out to Big Ye. Shout out to Jarrell. That's also my girlfriend's cousin. A lot of family support from my girlfriend's side of the family. So again, we're talking about support. That I appreciate every single person out there. It really truly does mean a lot. And we're just gonna keep on pushing. We keep on pushing. So Alvin, thank you so much, bro. And anytime you're here in the Bay Area, let us know. Check in with us. Take you out as long as COVID's done. But thank you so much for everything.
No, man. Thanks, guys, for having me.
We appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing. We look forward to kind of seeing you continue to grow and just do amazing things for other people because again you're doing it, and it's really great to see that transformation, man. To go from an introvert to a viral hashtag to really empowering a global community. Like that's not too many people can say that and actually have the courage to pursue that. I think it's one thing to kind of have a vision, but to pursue that and really do it, that's hats off to you for that.
Exactly. Also, one more shout out to my mom and shout out to my baby girl, Leia. I had to say the last two.
Right. You gotta like make sure you party really hard. Make sure that you make up for all of the time you spend on the live. So have a wonderful day, and I'm very grateful again to be you guys, and always happy to support amazing initiatives like the A-Game. Yeah.
I appreciate you, Alvin. All right, man. Much love, man, and you have a great rest of your weekend, and we will definitely stay in touch.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Adi signing off from the virtual A-Game studio. We'll be back next week with our finale for the mini-series. But until then, follow us on all of our social medias just to keep up with what's going on.
A-Game Media Co. Follow me at _here Foster.
Clout chasing.
Clout chasing, bro. You know what it is. All right, man. Signing off, guys. Peace.